Welcome children. Today we are going to start with question 4 of motion in one dimension exercise. So here you can see there's a graph, okay, which is shown on the slide, and the graph is displacement versus time. That is, on y-axis you can see displacement and on x-axis it is time. So I'll just read the question for you, what you're supposed to do. So here it is said, calculate the velocity of the body as it moves from time interval 0 to 5. So you can see that the time is given on the x-axis. So if when the body is moving from 0 to 5, this is the time interval, they are asking you to find the velocity of the body. As you know that whenever it is displacement versus time, and if they ask you to find the velocity, you have to find the slope. So now we'll be finding the slope over here. So slope is, as you can see, this is x1 y1 and this is x2 y2 because this is the end point what they have told, 0 to 5. So I'll be just writing over here. So this is the point which is y2, x2 and y2. So I'm just writing x2 and comma y. Okay. So here I'll be writing the coordinates as well. The coordinate for x is 5 and the coordinate for y is 3. And this point is x1 y1, x1 comma y1. And here you can see both the coordinates are 0 comma 0, both x-axis and y-axis coordinate. So that's the starting point. So now what we'll be doing is we'll be calculating the slope using the formula is equal to y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. So what do we get over here? y2 is 3 minus y1 is 0 upon x2 is 5 minus 0. So that is equal to 3 upon 5. So that is equal to 0. Okay, because 3 is less than 5, so you'll have to write 0. Then after, because of point, you are allowed to write 0 after 3, so it will be 0.6. And what will be the unit? As it is velocity, meter per second. So you have to write per, means it will be raised to -1. Okay, just make sure when you all are writing this. Now second question, what they have asked is 5 to 7 seconds. Okay, so between 5 to 7 seconds means over here. Over here you can see as it is parallel to the x-axis. That means the slope is going to be 0 because it is constant. So here what is the velocity? As you can see that displacement is same. So velocity is going to be 0. The slope is going to be 0. So here you write down, here the velocity value, velocity is equal to 0. Meter per second. Okay, so just write it over here. Now afterwards they have said 7 to 9 means over here. Now when you have, okay, I'll just shift this to so that you will know that now we have to find for this. So here you can see that here we'll be writing the value for x1 and y1 because from here it is starting. Okay, so x1 and y1 I'm just writing the value directly. 7 is x1, comma, y1 is going to be 3. Okay, and over here it will be 9, comma, because y2 is 9, sorry, 9, and comma, so x2 value is 9 and y2 value is 7. Okay, now I'll be using the formula over here to find the velocity. So slope is equal to y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. That is equal to, now if you consider y2 minus y1, so 7 minus 3 upon 9 minus 7. So that is equal to 7 minus 3 is 4 upon 9 minus 7 is going to be 2. So what will be the value? 4 upon 2 is 2 meter per second. So I hope children till here it's clear. So after this we'll be going to the next question. So the next question says that, we'll check what is given for the. So in the next question it is said, calculate the average velocity during the time interval 5 to 9 seconds. Okay, so 5 to 9 seconds. So 5 to 9 seconds you have to calculate the average velocity. I'll just draw a line over here so that we know that from here 9 seconds. Okay, till here. So now 5 to 9, you have to find the average velocity, and whenever you want to find average velocity, you remember the formula total displacement upon total time. So always whenever you want to find average velocity, it is, you're going to use average velocity, because if it is a straight line, the slope and average velocity, if you use finding the slope, it's going to give you the same value. But here you can see it's not a straight line. In that case, you have to remember that average velocity formula is total displacement, total displacement upon total. So here you can see that the total displacement is, so total displacement, if you see from 5 to 9, okay, it's starting from 3 till 7. So you have to subtract 7 and 3, because this is the starting displacement when it is at 5. The time is 5 seconds, and when it reaches to 9 seconds, that time the displacement of the body is 7 meter. So 7 minus 3 is how much? 4. So the total displacement is 7 minus 3, that is 4. 7 minus 3 upon total time is 9 minus 5, because the time interval is between 5 and 9. So that is equal to 7 minus 3 is 4. And when you subtract 9 minus 5 is also 4. So 4 upon 4 is equal to 1. So as average velocity, the unit is going to be same for as the velocity. So meter per second. Okay, write minus 1 raised to minus 1. So I hope children till here it's clear. Please copy this in the notebook when you all are solving it. As I am solving it simultaneously, even you all solve it in your notebook. Children, I hope till here it's clear. Now we go to the next part. So in the next question, if you see, in the next question, now this was question 4. Now question 5. So in the question 5, this is how the graph is given. And according to the graph, the questions are given. So you have to observe the graph, and you have to, this graph, you don't have to draw. You have to observe and you have to answer the questions. This is how it will be asked in the exam. So if you see, the first question says the average velocity in first 4 seconds. So first 4 seconds means from 0, it will start first 4 seconds. Okay, till here. So 0 to 1, first, second, second, third, and fourth, means 0 to 4. So if you see from 0, the displacement is 0, because y-axis is representing displacement. And as the direction is changing, it is coming to the negative part of the displacement as well. Here, the body is, if it is thrown in one direction, then after that it is coming back, and then it is coming, it is going in the opposite direction. That's why the graph is shown positive y-axis and negative y-axis. If it is traveling in the straight line, then only positive part of the y-axis is taken. But negative part, if it is taken, then as I have told you the example, when the body is thrown upwards, and then after reaching certain point, if it is coming in the downward direction, then in that case, when you are plotting the graph, you're going to show the negative part of the y-axis as well. So here you can see that the body is, when it is traveling in first 4 seconds, the average velocity, when they are saying, as you know that the average velocity formula is total displacement upon total time. So average velocity is equal to total displacement upon total time. So that will be equal to total displacement, if you see, is 10. You can see that 4 it's reaching over here, and it is 10 because constant it is. So 10 meter you have to say. So 10 divided by total time, it is 4, because first 4 seconds. So when you divide, 4 2s are 8 point, because 10 minus 8 is 2. And then as decimal point is there, you will be allowed to write 0 after 2. So you'll divide 4 5s are 20. So I hope this division, long division, you'll be able to do. So now here the unit for velocity you're going to write meter per second. Now in the next part of the question, they have said the displacement from the initial position at the end of 10 seconds. So displacement from the initial position at the end of 10 seconds, initial position and at the end of 10 seconds. So here you can see the body traveled till 10 meter. Then it was constant, means it was at rest. After that it came back to the original position, and then it started traveling in the opposite direction. So here when it comes to the 10 seconds, that time it is, you can see that the displacement over here is minus 10. So you have to write minus 10 meter. So when they are asking you what is the displacement, I will check the question once again. What have they asked? So here they have asked the displacement from the initial position at the end of 10 seconds. So 10 seconds means over here. So displacement, you have to straight away write the measurement. You don't have to find anything, because the reading on the y-axis gives you the displacement directly. So at the end of 10, it is minus 10 meter. So that's the displacement. Okay, right, displacement. Displacement is denoted with letter S, so I'll denote it with letter S. At the end of 10 seconds is equal to minus 10 meter. So I hope children till here it's clear. Now we go to the next question. The next question, let's see what they have asked. The time after which it reaches the starting point. So now here you can see the starting point is 0. So displacement, when it is 0, it is reaching again to this point at 7 seconds. And then again it is reaching at this point, because this is going to be the starting point for the body. At 13 seconds and 7 seconds, it is reaching the starting point. So they have asked the time at which. So you have to write the answer at 7 seconds and 13 seconds. So I hope till here, children, it's clear. Please copy it in your notebook. Okay, children, you all are doing really well. You all are understanding, you all are copying. And if you're not understanding, getting back is very important. So do that. After this, we go to the next question. Now, this was the 5th question. We go to the 6th question. Now, this is very important question. Now, this particular type of graph will be asked for exam. So here you can see that there are two lines. There are two lines which are drawn. One is for body A and the other is for body B. And it is displacement which is given in kilometer. Unit is kilometer and time is seconds. So now here we'll see the question. So they have asked distance by which car B was initially ahead of car A. So this is car B and car A. So the distance by which the car B was initially ahead of car A. So this is distance 40 kilometer. So initially you can see car B was ahead of car A by 40 kilometers. So you have to write the answer over here. So the distance by which car B was ahead of car A is equal to 40 kilometer. Okay. Now we go to the next part of the question. The next part of the question says the velocities of car A and B. So you have to find the velocity of car. Now, whenever you are finding the velocity of car A and B, as it is displacement versus time, and time is in hours and displacement is in kilometers. Sorry, children, I told in seconds. So it is hours and displacement is in kilometer. So you will be getting the answer for velocity kilometer per hour. So you are going to find the velocity by finding the slope. So when you are finding the slope, you will have to write x1, y1, x2, y2, which I'm going to write over here first for car B. So car B, I'm taking this point, the starting point, as x1 and y1. So here you can see x coordinate is going to be 0. I'm just writing the coordinate directly, and y coordinate is going to be 40 because on y-axis it is at 40. Okay. And here is the point where it is going to stop. So I'm just writing, I'm taking the final position as y2, x2. So x2 is x2 comma y2. So that is 4 comma 120. Now here I'll be finding the slope using that formula. So slope, which will give me the velocity for B, is equal to y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. So that is equal to, if you see, y2 is 120 minus y1 is 40 upon x2 is 4 minus x1 is 0. So that is equal to 120 minus 40 is going to be 80 upon 4. So that is equal to 20 kilometer per hour. So for B it is 20 kilometer per hour. So h raised to minus 1. Okay, children. So till here it's clear. Now you have to find the slope for A. So here you can see first x1 and y1. So 0, 0 is the coordinate. I'm directly writing over here x1, y1. And the final position of A is over here, which I'm taking as x2, y2. So x2 is 4 and y2 is 160. Okay. So now when I'm finding the slope, I'll be using the formula y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. So that will give me the value as, if you can see, y2 is 120, 160. 160 minus 0 upon 4 minus 0, that is equal to 160 upon 4, that is equal to 40 kilometer per hour. So I hope children till here it's clear. How do we find the velocity? Now if we go to the next part of the question, the next part of the question says the time in which car A catches car B. Both of them means time at which car A and B, car A catches car B, means they are at the same position. So what time you can see they are at the same position? So x-axis gives you the time. So at 2 hours, they are at the same position. So you have to write over here the time. I'll be writing it over here. I'll be just marking it and writing. So here you can see that I'm marking it over here 2 hours, and I'll be writing that time at which car A catches car B is 2 hours. Now after that, they have said that when you're writing hours, you write H or HOUR. Okay, so write H for symbolizing R. After that, they are asking another question. Let's see what is the another question. So you have to attempt for all the question. The distance from start when the car A will catch car B. Now car A will catch car B at what distance? So you can see over here, distance you will get it from the y-axis. At what distance car A and B are at the same position? So it is 80 kilometer. So we'll be writing over here distance so distance is equal to 80 kilometer. Okay, so because they are at the same position, so like that you'll be writing sub question number and you'll be writing the answer in front of it. Calculation, you have to use the formula for slope. Otherwise, direct question, if it is asked at what time and which you can get through the graph easily just by observation, directly write the answer 2 hours, and displacement or the distance covered is at what, the distance at which they are going to be in the same position is 80. So this particular answer, directly write it down in front of the question. So children, I hope till here whatever is taught is clear. Okay, so let's see once again that we have covered all the questions. So yes, we have covered all the questions. Thank you, children.